Welcome to the live stream. Today we'll be doing another color in our reductive linoleum print project. In this one we're going to be printing this whole bottom portion. So we're transitioning now to the mountain that is just in the foreground. So we cut all the distant area away, and now this is just the foreground cliff. It's called the traps. And there's some rock face in here, lots of groups of trees, and we're going to be just kind of putting a base tone down, which is going to be a kind of a green gray as I'm looking at it in the camera here. It's a little bit of a green gray. I might adjust that color, I'm not sure. So we'll print one first and see how it goes. Let me just refresh my page here so I can get the stream up. Bear with me for 1 second. Why is this not coming up? Here it is. And there we are. Good afternoon, Pam. So this blue color is just the reaction, or the pigment was soaking in from the last 3 impressions, the greens that I was using. I actually did 2 more impressions off camera to kind of work these areas. I'm running out of time, so I had to do these small little areas. So we just added some more green textures in there. And I'm not quite happy with this negative shape that's in there. I might go back. I took an impression of this, so I could always go back and rework this on a separate block if I needed to. But for now, I'm just going to keep moving forward. So we're doing this large foreground shape. It's going to be a flat base tone. I have this gray-green color mixed up. So we're going to start with that, see how it goes. So I think I'm ready to roll here. I have the stream up. Get some stuff out of the way here. It was pouring rain out this morning in New York City, and now it's starting to get brighter out. I think it's going to clear up this afternoon, but we have a full moon here joining us today, and that's just a little light fixture I have over the table. I needed it for some extra light earlier. I don't need it anymore, but I kind of like that it's just a nice little full moon there reflecting off the glass palette. It's kind of nice. I'm rolling out this whole block this time. So this is going to be a nice transitional base tone for the cliff, or the cliff that's in the foreground here. I want to say it's a mountain, but it's not really a mountain. It's more of a cliff. It's a ridge, actually. So the back of this cliff, which is called the traps in the gunks, it's just it's like an angled slab. It goes slowly up, and then there's a drop off, and the drop off is where so it kind of just goes up slowly, and there's a drop off, and this is the face that people climb on. It's actually more at an angle like that maybe, but it's actually just a big horizontal ridge. So it's not a mountain. And you know, Battleship Gray, this linoleum, is kind of a neutral gray. So I'm trying to get a neutral color, so you can see it's more green than this. Looks more yellow now. Or this color that's here is more cool. So I think this color will work. I was going for a warm neutral gray, so I think this might work. Most of this, 98% of this color will be covered up. I'll only be cutting out the highlights on the rock faces will be this color. So this is going to be lighter in value than the rest of the print. Just make sure we have a nice even. I should be probably using a larger roller. You can see my light goes in and out. We have for some reason this electrical outlet doesn't work sometimes. little piece of stuff here. Get that off if I can. I also started, I can't get this chunk of garbage off, there we are. I started the other print this morning. I just filmed it for YouTube. And I'll show you that in a little bit. Alright, that looks like it's a good amount of ink. So let's see what we got going on here. So this first sheet is my test print, or my test sheet. It's always the first one that goes down. And I can base my colors off of what I see on this one. And we are putting this through the printing press one time. And then we can see what it looks like. And there it is. One large green shape. So now we have the whole perimeter of the image, or the border of the image, the edges. You can see the format. So this is exciting. This is an exciting part of the journey, or the print journey, where we went from this, not really seeing anything at all, not understanding what we were looking at, to this. So now we can kind of get a better idea of what's to come. So this is just a nice base layer. And now, do I want to change this color? Well, it's looking a little green to me, but that's okay. I kind of would like it to be a little more yellow, or a little warmer. But I'm not sure, because all the colors that are going to go on top of this are going to be dark greens, some reds, some oranges. So this might be a nice base color. I kind of would like it to be a little lighter and a little more yellow. So I think I'm just going to alter this color slightly, not too much, just a little bit. So I'm going to do that real quick. So a little more yellow. I have some yellow ochre here. This is the end of my tube, and you could tell because look at how messy that has gotten. So I'll just squeeze whatever's left in here. There's not much. Just put that to the side. Probably won't need that much. And then I'll put some more white here as well. Probably not going to need this much yellow. Maybe just a little bit like that. Use all this white. Just going to change this, tint it a little bit to the yellow side. It's a little too green for me. This is kind of just the highlights of the rock features on the rock face. There's a couple sections that are a little warmer. And then there's going to be some cooler highlights. And then there's going to be like two darker grays, like a cooler gray and then a warm gray, which is going to be mostly lichen. So a lot of this rock face down at this end of the cliff is covered. It's at the end of this cliff, there isn't as much climbing. It's a little bit more wild. The rock quality down at this end of the cliff it's not as good as the other end. So there's a lot of lichen, like natural lichen on the rock. And it's a very like warm red. It's almost like a purpley red color. I need another paper towel. So bear with me for 1 second. That was just stuff falling off my shelf. I think that color will do well. It wasn't much of a change, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm just going to roll this ink out. A piece of scrap paper. And let's try this again. I'm not too worried about this mess here. So yeah, I did 2 impressions off camera this week. I just did it at night in the evening. It went really fast. I'm just trying to move this project along. And I would like to show you this stage because it's a big transitional stage and it's the base layer for the remainder of the print. Nice flat color to work on top of. That's looking pretty good. So let's try this one. So here we go. It also covers up all these overprinted areas. It kind of just puts a nice flat base tone over it. I did not add any transparent base to this one because I wanted it nice and flat. But there still will be transparency showing through. These inks do have a transparent quality to them. Remember to keep this out of the way. There it is, nice neutral tone. And you can really start to see the distance now, the space that's behind this cliff, or this ridge. And all 3 of these cliffs go up on this angle, and then the rock face is like this. You can see that now, and this rock face will curve along towards the viewer. But you can see these little impressions I did here. Just a couple little textural colors, just to add a little bit of interest there. I was using my Dremel tool for all these. I use my knife too, but all these little textures and stuff in here, I pretty much used the knife and the Dremel tool. So yeah, I'm happy with that color. It's not very different than the last color. It's just a little more yellow. So we just keep going. I'm happy with that. So what's going on out there? Nothing, no comments. Pam's there. I see Pam. So it's not super exciting today, but it's just work that I have to get done. And here comes the sun. So now I'm gonna have to close these curtains because it's gonna get a glare. Getting rid of this yellow color because I don't want it to cause any problems with prints falling or whatever. So just get rid of that. And turn off the full moon. Oops. So now it's a sun. And now it's a moon. Close this curtain here. So it's actually going to be a nice warm day now. Now that it's rained for the last 12 hours, it'll be humid for the next 24 hours. Alright, get that glare off the blocks. Alright, let's get going. Pam says, nice colors. Thank you, Pam. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with these colors so far. It's something that I wouldn't, if I were to just sit down and like choose colors and put them on the page, these aren't colors that I would normally choose. So I'm kind of using the process of this reductive block printing and using the overlays and the transparency of the pigments on top of each other, where they're creating new colors because of what's underneath. So what's underneath influences the colors. So they're really, in painting terms, they would be, there's opacity involved, it'd be more of a scumble or a glaze when you put a thin application of color over the top. I'm just going to leave, there's a little piece of stuff there, but it's not a big deal because it's going to get covered eventually anyways. So these are like complex colors that you can't just mix. I mean, you could mix them you could mix them, but it's hard to get that, you're getting a warm color underneath a cool color, or a slightly darker color over top of a lighter tone. You get to start seeing all these complex colors. Even with this impression, you can see that there's a purple under this top half. And look how different it is from the white sheet. So this is all the same color, but you can see the difference there. You can see that purple that's underneath coming through versus just the plain white paper, and how different that is. So actually the colors that I'll be pulling out from this impression, some will be in this darker area, and a few will be down here in this lighter area. So there'll be a few in both zones, but that's okay if they're slightly different. It's not crucial, because they're just little pieces, and then they're going to be, a darker tone is going to be put on top of this. There's a painter who I really admire. His name is Vincent Desiderio. And he talks about overlapping cools over warms and overlapping darks over lights. So if you're putting a dark tone, a dark color, a dark transparent color over a lighter color, it's called glazing. So if you have a region in a painting, an oil painting, and you want to deepen it or put a shadow over or darken it, you do a thin dark color over top. Say it's a warm, and you glaze over that. It'll darken the value, it'll warm it up, and that's called the glaze. But if you scumble, a scumble is when you put a lighter tone over a darker tone. So say you have a dark mass and you want to lighten it up a little bit, you can scumble, where you have some opacity and a lighter tone over top, and it creates a gray, and it lightens it up, but it also makes it cooler. So whenever you put a slightly opaque color over another color, it appears to be cooler. And he discusses this when he paints. And it's really interesting to try to understand how that works visually or chemically, or these particles with pigments and what they do over top of each other. So you're actually seeing through multiple layers in these prints. It's oil pigment, so it's just like an oil painting. So when you're seeing through all these layers, your eye is going through this yellow-green pigment It's going through the one that's behind, it's going through the purple, it's hitting the paper, and then light is actually coming back through. So you're actually seeing through all these layers of oil, and then the light is refracting and coming back through. And up here in the sky, you could see a lot of it, this yellow color that's coming through underneath this blue. And it's just, from a distance, it reads like it's glowing almost. So when you'll see this in old master paintings. Old master paintings are multiple layers of thin glazes and scumbles, one on top of each other, totally controlling how the temperatures and the values, and that's just the essence of oil painting. Sorry, I'm rambling here. But these are things that I'm thinking of when I'm layering these colors, especially when I'm adding these transparent, the transparency to them. So I'm thinking about how this color, or the color that's underneath, is going to react with the color that I'm putting on top. So he calls those colors optical grays. That's what my goal was, to get to that point. It's an optical gray, meaning it's not just one color that you're seeing, it's multiple colors, and it's creating a gray. I think that's what he calls them, optical grays. Like, you're not seeing, this is the color that I'm putting down that's sitting on top of the paper. The paper is influencing this. But this color here, it's the same color, but two optical grays with one color. So this color is doing two separate things in these two different places. And if you think about that and use that to your advantage while painting, that's what you have to start thinking of if you want to advance your oil painting to a higher level, I think. So it's been fun because I'm painting, in the other room. I'm using oil paintings. I'm making oil paintings, and I'm coming here and I'm thinking of this. It's really the same thing. But instead of a brush with a brush stroke, I'm using this whole shape as one brush stroke today. Just one large brush stroke. Now the sun went away, and now it's dark in here again. And I'm losing I can't see the glare. See if this works. See if this helps me. Might not help you, but no, it doesn't help too much. So I have I like to see the glare from the window on the block, so then I can see this. I have to open this up again. Just one side. Because then I could see, if I covered the whole surface equally, I could see if there's stuff on the block. Pretty good. This print unfortunately has many more impressions. I always think that I'm only going to need 12 impressions to finish a print, but it's probably going to be more like 20. So how many more do I have left? I have at least 2 more after this for the rock, probably 3 more after this for the rock. But I'll start doing these in the evening because this ink does dry quickly, and I could do another impression. If I do one in the morning, I could do one in the evening as well. So I have like 3 more in the rock surface alone. I'm going to work the rock surface until it's completed. I'm going to carve all that away, and then I'm just going to focus on the trees. So I'm going to start with black. It won't be quite black, but it'll be a dark green. I'll lay that down first, and then cut the darkest shapes away, and then I'll slowly build towards the light values of the trees. I think that's how it's going to work. The print, like, so I adding a little bit drying agent in these inks, so it's dry to the touch within 8 to 10 hours, I'd say, or maybe less, depends on how thin. Certain colors dry faster than others, like umber, like a raw umber or burnt umber dries very fast compared to, say, like a red. Like a red, like a cadmium red will dry slower, or a yellow dries pretty slow. So there's certain colors that dry really quick. Earth tones tend to dry really fast. So those can dry within, say, an hour. But I just did the first impression on the other print this morning, and because that paper is really absorbent, it's already dry to the touch. It's only been like 2 hours. It's dry to the touch. I could print on top of it, no problem right now, if I wanted to. I'll show that to you after this one. So it just depends on the situation. Gotta make sure I don't have anything, not paying attention to the margins. Just make sure I'm not. Yeah, I'm using a different paper for the next project. I prefer this paper, but I just need to use some of this other paper up. It's just been sitting around. I like to test out different papers. The paper I'm using for the other project is called Kitakata. I used it for the Dur print that I made last winter season. And let's show you that print real quick. So this is a behind the scenes reveal. Let me get this piece of garbage off of there first. There we go. Just move this out of the way. So this is the section I printed this morning. Just a blue gradation. And this is what the color looks like on a piece of scrap paper. That was the color that I laid down. And that's a Adam and Eve Dur print. Been looking at, these are the Small Passion. This is the first print in the Small Passion. This is actually printed larger than, this is 1.5 scale. But I've been looking at this, the Small Passion's really interesting. Really love his prints. So it's easy for me to get distracted. And this is the first impression on the Kitakata paper, which is warmer than the paper I'm using right now. But I kind of like that for this one. So you can see this paper, the difference in color. So this yellow or beige tone is influencing these blues here. And will influence all the colors that are on top. So that's the first impression. And I will be doing this impression down here, which is the base of the rock, the cliff area. I'll be doing that tonight. So I'll have 2 impressions done on this one so far. So I'm working both of these prints all together. And this block has multiple, it's got the base tone for the rocks. This is the green landscape behind, which we transferred that image last week. These are the tree colors, shapes. And then this is what I transferred last week. I carved around the perimeter, and now I just have to clear all the wood away. So I'm still carving that. And then I have a whole other block here that has the tree shapes. This tree will be a different color than this tree up here, and there'll be a gradation. There'll be gradations in all of these. And this is the dark gray rock and the dark gray for some of the trees' limbs, which will be like a transparent gray. I still have one more block to cut for that project. So you can see how easy it is to get distracted when you're working on 4 different projects at once. And I'm already thinking about my next project. Alright, we have 10 people on here. Slowly, we are growing our little community here. So thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, or if you're just checking in for a minute, welcome. Please leave comments or questions below, or to the side, or wherever the comments are. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. Find me on Instagram. Check out my website. Sign up for my newsletter. All of that stuff. So as soon as I say that, 3 people drop off. They're like, yeah, whatever. I'm out of here. It's a nice color, this green or gray. I like it. It's a base tone. I'm liking these yellow, just the yellow coming through in the sky. So my drying rack over here is getting filled, both sides of it, with 2 different prints. I love when that happens. Mr. Cat ASMR, welcome. Thank you. Do you have art focus, or is it just general art or art history? Or are you focusing on a specific medium like painting or printmaking? But either way, welcome and thank you for your comment. Once this exhibition is up in November, my solo exhibition, I'm going to take a break from probably making prints for at least a couple weeks. I might continue to paint because painting is easy to just pick up and put down. I don't know. I say I'm going to stop doing printing for a month, but I probably won't. But I am definitely going to get caught up on YouTube stuff because I have like 3 different videos that are ready to edit. I really like to sit down and do some editing and get some videos out there. I miss doing that. I didn't do much of it this summer. I really want to just put out one video a week and just get on for this fall and this winter, because we'll be getting into the dark, cold season. Just try to focus on putting one video out a week. Oh, cool. You're doing a printmaking exchange at your university. Wow, that's awesome. Are outsiders allowed into that, or is it just for students? Either way, that's really cool. I've done a few of those where you do print exchanges. It's a fun way to get a bunch of interesting artwork. If you're looking for some artwork in a collection, you can always join one of these print exchanges. There's a bunch of them out there. They'll send you a box of different prints. You have to submit yours. They'll tell you how many copies you have to make, and then you submit yours, and then they'll either you get one from every artist, or you just get, like, say 10 from random artists, or whatever the criteria is. But it's a great way to get artwork for trade. Sometimes there's a fee in there involved for shipping or whatnot, because it is a lot of work to organize something like that. There's a lot of communication, a lot of emails, a lot of back and forth questions, and then you have, there's deadlines, and you think it's a simple thing to organize, but it's always much more complex and complicated than you think. So good luck with that, and I'm glad you're doing a little bit of everything. Doing a little bit of everything is great, especially when you're young, because you might think you know what you like best, or you think you might be a painter or a drawer or a sculptor or whatever. Then you come across something else, and then you enjoy that even more. But they all influence each other. All the arts, the three-dimensional arts, ceramics, all the different mediums. And it's really good practice to do a little bit of everything, especially when you're in university or college. So I'm glad you're trying everything. That's really important. And what you like now might not be what you like in 10 years. So it's good to have a knowledge of all of these different mediums. So my ink's getting kind of thin. That last impression was kind of light. You could tell because you could really see the drawing underneath. Could add a little bit more ink. To the block. Oh, that's interesting. Ukrainian print exchange. I don't have time for any of that stuff at the moment, but they are fun. So I'd encourage people to get out there and do stuff like that. Probably should be using a larger brayer or roller, but that's all right. What's up, Matt? wish I had like a face to these names and like a map of your location. It would be much easier for me to remember who is who. That's a nice impression there. So it's coming along, it's starting to come together. And now we can see the whole format and the perimeter of the image. We can get a good idea of the composition now. I took a ceramics class in my undergrad, and we had to hand build stuff using tools and just hand building clay, and then we would fire that, glaze it, fire it again, and that was really fun. Really liked that. And then the second half of the semester was all based on throwing on the wheel, and we had to throw I think our first assignment was to throw 20 bowls, and then just after you do it, you just throw them away. You just throw them back in the clay bucket. And they're like, if you get a good one, don't keep it. You just throw it away. And they just wanted you to get into the repetition of centering the clay, bringing it up, bringing it down, making a bowl, and then we had to do 20 cups, throw them away, something like that. And when you get a good one, you're like, oh, I don't want to throw it away. But it was a good lesson, because really you just have to make a bunch, because then you can just throw them. If you get good at it, you can just throw them easily, and you have total control over the shape and the height and the width. But man, that was difficult for me. Centering the clay was really difficult for me. I had zero patience for it, and the amount of mud and clay on my hands is I didn't like that feeling. I didn't have enough control over the medium, and it was really kind of hard for me. Eventually I got decent at it, but I could see if I stuck with it, it would be really fun. But I really like the hand building with the clay more, because it was less messy. So when I pull, excuse me, when I pull this print off, I have to just go slow. It's really sticking down because it's a large surface. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, but my floor is very squeaky. I'm on a hardwood floor. I have a mat down, like a standing mat, but it's very squeaky. So I hope you don't hear that. I don't know if the microphone can pick that up. And man, it's humid. I could feel the humidity out there. What's the temperature? It's 75 degrees in here. And I would normally just have my AC on right now. But because I'm doing this live stream, it's just getting the sun's coming out outside and just heating everything up. It's been like summer this past month. All of September, all of October so far. It's just been like summer. It's like 85 degrees over the weekend. I was at my son's soccer game, and we're just in the middle of this huge grass field and just roasting in the sun. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Just like getting fried by the sun. It's like poor kids running around out there. There's no shade. It's supposed to be cool out. It's supposed to be fall. I'm missing the fall season. Last year was kind of the same way here. Can't hear the squeaky floor? That's a good thing, because it's annoying. Or it would be annoying for you. That's one good thing about having an inexpensive microphone. It doesn't pick up the squeaky floor sound. Need a little bit more ink on the block. It's getting a little thin. I don't know, for any of you that watch Dave Bull and watch his Japanese woodblock printmaking Twitch streams, I used to watch those every week. You know, every single episode I would chime in. Not chime in, but I would watch. And if I missed one, I would go back and follow it. But I realized it was taking up a lot of my own creative time. So I stopped watching them for quite some time. And I know recently he's had some things going on in his personal life. I saw some things going on Instagram or whatever. But yeah, I checked one out the other day just to see where he's at. And they're doing, I think they're in their busy season. And they're selling prints like crazy still. And it was nice to watch one of his replays of his Twitch stream. It's been a while. I haven't watched one probably in, I don't even know, 6 months, 7 months. But it's important to check in with him every once in a while because they got a lot of interesting things going on over there in Japan and Tokyo. He's working on, I know they're working on paper makers that are doing some new, trying to develop new papers, and he's really trying to push the production of paper in the country and spreading the word about Mokahanga. And it's important for me to check in once in a while to pay attention to the news or what's going on. One day I'll find my way to Japan. I haven't been there yet. But I'm looking forward to a trip there someday. He is a fountain of knowledge, that's for sure. Yeah, I used to do that too. I used to just play it while I'm working, because he's usually working at the same time, right? And doing something, either sizing paper or carving or embossing, debossing. It's actually debossing. You're pressing it from the back. But yeah, it's just nice to have on in the background. Makes you feel like you're working in a community space. It's kind of how this is going for me right now. Like I was doing printing the other night and it was just like really lonely. I had no one to talk to. I find myself just talking to myself. But I owe a lot of, or most of this printmaking stuff, I owe a lot of it to Dave Bull because he posted all those videos when he launched the series with Jed Henry. He was posting all of those videos on YouTube. And that's when I really found out about woodblock printmaking. And that's what sparked my interest in it as a medium. And after watching, I think it was the first video I watched was making the fox moon. And I think that video, he goes through every color. He checks off every color. It's like 20 something impressions, I'm guessing. But and then after he prints it, he crosses it off of his list with a highlighter. And it was in his workshop. I forget where his workshop is, his old workshop. And I watched that video probably 20 times in a row. And I was like, I need to learn how to do that. I need this in my life. And I wish it was easier to get the materials. I wish it was easier to get paper or washi and brushes and the tools. It's not so easy anymore. Even in the last 10 years, I started maybe 10 years ago, let's just say, acquiring tools for this Mokahanga. And it's just difficult to find good quality paper. It's super expensive to ship stuff. And I wish it was more accessible worldwide. For him, he's in Japan, it's easier for him to get all this stuff. But for people in the States, it's not easy, and it's not very cost effective. That's why I'm going more towards this right now, which is linoleum, American cherry, different kinds of paper, and I'm exploring all different kinds of printmaking right now. Mostly relief printing, but trying to combine Western and Eastern techniques. I'm still using the Japanese tools to carve. I'm still using the Baron. And for this print here, the trees with the cliff print, I can't put this through the press, so this is all hand. This is all hand Baron work. The whole process will be, because I can't run this wood, this shin plywood through the press. One, I didn't design it for that. There's no border that would support the press, the roller of the press. I would need to have a nice wide border, because if I tried to run this through the press, it would jam along this edge and just crush all these details. And I'm carving on both sides of the wood, so it's it's not a flat surface. So I'm combining Mokuhanga techniques, but using oil-based pigments. It says, Stuart says, you posted to the Acolyte page that Dave then talked about on his Twitch stream near its start. Yeah, maybe back when he started his Twitch stream, I was probably very active. I don't comment too much, but I was watching, and then I would post on the Acolyte page once in a while. Does that page still exist, the Acolyte page on Facebook? I really don't look at Facebook at all, to be honest with you. I only look at Instagram, YouTube, and that's pretty much it these days, just those two. Those are my go-tos. But man, he's got quite the following on his Twitch. I think it was 60,000 people follow him or something like that, as I noticed on the Twitch account, the Japanese woodblock printmaking. It's like something like 60,000 or 70,000. Or it could be, I could be wrong. Maybe that was his YouTube subscribers. No, he has to have more than that on YouTube. Stuart M. And the temperature is just going up. Oh, look, see what it says now. Now it's 75.2, so it's gone up 0.2. Just feel the heat building. I'm ready for some fall weather. I like to break out the pants, the sweaters. I still had the AC on. Falling asleep the other night, I had to turn it on. It's just way too warm. And I'm on the top floor of this apartment building, so the heat rises up here. Keep an eye on time. What time is it anyways? 1 o'clock. So we're almost at an hour here. Try to keep these videos at an hour. What do we got? We got 7 people here. Thanks again for joining, whoever's out there. And for the people who are watching on a regular basis, if there's something else you would like to see, some other aspect of my studio practice or whatever, you can always let me know. Take any suggestions. You can see there's a depression in the paper on this one. It's a white depression. And we can fix that temporarily. Just get some ink on your finger. Just tap it. And that's what's nice about oil. You can just do something like that, and then you don't have to worry about it. You make sure you clean off your finger. Pam says 67K following Dave. That's on his Twitch stream, right? I'd love to go to Japan. I gotta make that a goal for the next. You know, my son is almost 9 years old now. He's old enough to sit on a plane for, what is it, like 18 hours or something like that. I think he's old enough to do that. I just dropped my bearing on the floor. That's bad luck. I think that's bad luck. You don't want to do that. You could damage the cover. Retying the bearings are really difficult task. We have a delivery truck out front. It's the milk guy for the school across the street. See, I need one of those cameras that just points out my front window, like Dave, so you guys can see what's going on outside. So the school, it's a middle school, it's a charter school, it's right across the street from me. Probably wouldn't be able to do that with a school with middle school students across the street. I could probably get into some trouble with that. So that's probably not a good idea. There's a delivery truck. It's going to deliver milk to the school. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's not breaking any laws. For a business, having a camera set up like that facing outward, it kind of can just look like a security camera. You know, like I think you're okay to, but I'm sure people don't know that he's broadcasting live. We're almost to the end of the stack. Like 4 more left after this one. I'm feeling kind of tired today because this is the second impression I've done. I've been printing non-stop since about 9 o'clock this morning. So I've put in about 4 hours today printing. It's just this table that I'm at, it's very low. It's a lot of bending over. And it just fatigues my lower back, so it's not really good for my posture. But it is physical work. I mean, I'm standing. I can't do this sitting. So you're on your feet, moving left, moving right, bending over. Mentally, you're engaged the whole time. But yeah, it's really bad for your posture because I'm constantly looking down. So my neck hurts, my back is starting to hurt. So I have to take a break after this. We got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 more. 3 more. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to end the stream because I'd like to get 3 of these done on just video, just so I can in the future make a YouTube video about this. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. And thank you for joining me today. And I will keep you updated with what's going on. I may be doing another live stream tomorrow. I most likely will. What's today? Tuesday? No, Wednesday? Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, I'll probably be doing this again tomorrow, so it'll be the next color of this, or it'll be an impression on the new project. So maybe we'll switch it over to the new project. I'll try to do a little bit of both, I think. So enjoy your evening. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and have a good one.